You built the throne, good for you, but keeping it, that's where the real game begins. See, Machiavelli didn't just study kingdoms. He studied people, their fears, their pride, their hunger for illusion. And if there's one thing he learned, it's this: the truth might set you free, but a well-crafted lie can keep you in power. This ain't a lesson in cruelty, it's a lesson in clarity. Because whether you're leading a company, a town, or just trying to hold your life together, the world ain't run by angels. It's run by men who understand perception. In this chapter, we talk about the psychology of leadership, why moral purity can get you killed, why leaders need to dance between the people and the powerful, why you must appear good, even when you ain't, and why fear, if used right, will keep the wolves at bay while you sleep soundly. Power ain't just about what you do, it's about what they think you'll do. So, if you're ready to stop wishing the world were simpler and start seeing it for what it is, let's walk deeper into the mind of Machiavelli. And remember, if you don't master the game, you're just a piece on the board. Let's begin. Abandon idealism or be destroyed. The gap between how people live and how they ought to live is so wide that anyone who ignores everyday reality in order to live up to an ideal will soon discover he has been taught how to destroy himself. Niccolo Machiavelli. Now, I want you to sit with that for a minute. Let it settle in. Because it ain't what you'll hear in Sunday sermons or from folks writing self-help books with shiny covers and big promises. What Machiavelli is saying here is harsh, but it's real. And if you've lived a few decades in this world, you know exactly what he means. See, there's how the world should be, and then there's how it actually is. In the ideal world, good people win. Truth is rewarded. Justice is blind. But in the world we live in, the truth gets buried, justice gets bought, and good people get used up, thrown out, or steamrolled by the ones who play dirtier and louder. Now, don't misunderstand me. This ain't about giving up on values. It's about waking up. You can't afford to walk through life blindfolded by idealism. If all you ever do is act according to how people should behave, you're going to get burned by how they really behave. That young worker who trusts his boss blindly ends up laid off before Christmas. That woman who always gives folks the benefit of the doubt ends up drained, taken advantage of, and left wondering why kindness didn't pay off. That honest politician, chewed up and spit out by a system that rewards spin, not sincerity. Machiavelli saw this 500 years ago, and not a damn thing's changed. The people who rise to power, the ones who shape the world, they don't do it by pretending it's fair. They do it by understanding the game and then playing it better than anyone else. And here's the tough pill. Idealism without strategy is suicide. It's not about becoming cruel, it's about becoming clear-eyed. You have to see people as they are, not just as you wish they were. You have to understand systems, incentives, weaknesses, not to exploit, but to survive. Now, does that mean you should become cold? No. Does it mean you throw your values in the trash? Hell no. But it does mean you stop expecting the world to hand you something just because you're a decent human being. The world ain't Santa Claus. It's more like poker. You play the cards you're dealt, but you better learn how to read the table too. Let's bring this to today. In American life, there are folks trying to change systems, education, healthcare, justice, and bless them, we need that. But the ones who last, the ones who actually make change, they do it with savvy. They understand politics, power, money, and timing. They don't scream about what's fair. They build coalitions. They work the room. They compromise without selling their soul. Machiavelli isn't telling you to be immoral. He's telling you to be effective. Here's what you do. 1. See clearly. Study people, study systems. Know how things work before you try to fix them. 2. Adapt. What works in theory often fails in practice. Adjust your tactics. 3. Act boldly. When you must stand your ground, stand like a mountain. But don't stand foolishly on principle if it means falling off a cliff. Because the truth is, a lot of people have died on the altar of should. Should doesn't save you. Should doesn't feed your family. Should doesn't protect you from the wolves. You want to do good in this world? Then be smart about it. Be strategic. Be someone who sees the world clearly and still chooses to do the right thing when it matters most. But for God's sake, don't let your ideals blind you, or you'll wake up broke, bitter, and wondering why the world never met you halfway.
Balance nobles and people. A prince must have the friendship of the people, otherwise he has no remedy in adversity. Niccolo Machiavelli. Let's not beat around the bush here. Every society, whether it's a Renaissance kingdom or modern-day America, runs on a delicate balance between the few who have the power and the many who bear the weight. The nobles, as Machiavelli called them, are the folks with money, land, titles, and connections. The people? Well, they're the ones who get up early, go to work, keep the lights on, raise the kids, and pay the price when things fall apart. Machiavelli saw something most leaders miss. When the elites turn against you, it hurts. But when the people turn against you, that's a fall you don't get up from. Now, here in the States, we don't have princes in name, but we've got plenty in spirit. CEOs, senators, tech moguls, media barons. Same game, different uniform. And the lesson still holds. If you want to lead, build your foundation on the trust of regular folks, not just the ones at the top. See, the elites, your nobles, they've always got options. They can pack their bags, lobby the government, move their money offshore, or find a new leader to back. They're slippery. But the people, if you lose them, if they stop believing you're on their side, you're done. Because when the storm comes, and it always does, the nobles won't stand between you and the wind, but the people might. Machiavelli warned, nobles want to control the prince, to use him for their gain. The people just want not to be oppressed. One group seeks power, the other seeks peace. That's the difference. And this applies beyond politics. Let's take a business owner. You cozy up to investors and executives all day long, but treat your workers like dirt, cutting hours, dodging healthcare, never listening. One day you'll find yourself without loyalty, without effort, and without a team. Because when times get tough, your fancy friends won't mop the floors or pack the boxes, but your employees might, if they respect you. The wise leader, as Machiavelli put it, doesn't try to please everybody. He knows that the favor of the many will shield him better than the protection of the few. Look at history. The French Revolution, nobles forgot the people. The fall of Rome, the gap between rich and poor got too wide. Even in our own time, when wages stagnate, costs rise, and the average Joe feels forgotten, what happens? People rebel. Maybe not with pitchforks, but with their votes, their wallets, and their voices. So what do? 1. Respect the people, not with empty words, with action, fair pay, honest work, a listening ear. 2. Be wary of the powerful. Their loyalty is shallow and based on profit, not principle. 3. Build your foundation wide. The more people you serve, the harder it is for anyone to knock you over. And here's the most important part. Machiavelli didn't say, rule the people. He said, befriend them. That's deeper. That's about trust, fairness, and shared interest. Because if the only ones who like you are rich, then the moment you're not useful to them anymore, they'll throw you overboard like yesterday's news. But if the people stand with you, well, then, even in adversity, you've got a chance. So remember, whether you're leading a business, a family, or a nation, power built on elite favor is fragile. Power rooted in the people, that's the kind that lasts. Master the art of appearance. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Now this one hits a nerve. Because deep down, we all want to believe that character speaks louder than performance. That being a good person ought to be enough. That truth wins out in the end. But Machiavelli? He throws a cold glass of water right in our faces. He says, "Not so fast, friend. You can be honest, brave, humble, faithful, and kind, but if you do not look the part, if you do not manage what people think they're seeing, you'll lose to someone who's less virtuous, but better dressed, smoother spoken, and more calculated about their image."
And here's the hard truth. He's right. In politics, in business, in love, even in small-town life, perception is power. Think about it. We size people up in seconds. What they wear, how they talk, whether they look confident or uncertain, whether they smile too much or too little. We create stories in our heads, and then we treat those stories as facts. Now, Machiavelli's not saying you have to be fake. He's saying you have to understand the stakes. A leader can't afford to look soft when things get tough. A parent can't afford to look uncertain when a child needs direction. And in America today, we're living in a media-saturated, image-driven world where folks often care more about the headline than the content. Here's where it gets tricky. Machiavelli warns, a ruler must appear virtuous, merciful, faithful, generous, just, but know when to act against those virtues if survival demands it. You don't show cruelty unless it buys peace. You don't lie unless the truth would sink you. You don't reveal the whole plan because most people don't want truth. They want assurance. That might feel uncomfortable, but again, this isn't about abandoning morality. It's about being wise enough to protect it. Sometimes, to preserve what's good, you've got to wrap it in a form that the world accepts. Let's make this real. Imagine a politician. Good heart, strong values, wants to serve the people, but he looks disheveled, speaks awkwardly, and comes across unsure. His opponent? Slick suit, firm handshake, well-rehearsed speech. Never mind that it's all smoke and mirrors. Who wins the public trust? Now imagine you're running a business. You've got a great product, but your website looks like it was made in 1997. Will people trust your quality? Probably not. Because appearance speaks before you do. Even in relationships, it matters. If you come across needy, scattered, or desperate, people pull away. But if you carry yourself with dignity, even while struggling, folks lean in. That's Machiavelli's point. People don't have the time or the will to dig beneath the surface, so the surface has to speak for you. He's not telling you to be a fraud. He's telling you to be strategic, to present the best version of your truth, the one that keeps you strong enough to keep doing what matters. Here's how you apply it. 1. Craft your presence. Walk like someone with purpose. Speak with clarity. Carry yourself like your words matter. 2. Learn how you're perceived. Ask honest folks, how do I come across? Fix what gets in the way. 3. Guard your truth but guide your image. Do not overshare your weakness. Show resilience even when you're working through the fire. Because as Machiavelli said, everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. That means most people will never know your full story. But they'll judge your book by its cover, and if that cover looks unreadable, they'll never open the pages. So be wise. Be grounded. but never forget the power of appearance.
Fear over love. It is better to be feared than loved, but avoid hatred. A prince must contrive to escape being despised. Niccolo Machiavelli. Now, let's get something straight right off the bat. Machiavelli ain't telling you to go around scaring folks just to feel big. He's not pushing cruelty, and he sure ain't praising tyranny. What he's doing is telling you the truth, the kind most people are too polite or too afraid to say out loud. People love you when it's easy. They fear you when it's necessary. And when life backs you into a corner, when the money runs dry, the wind turns cold, and your so-called friends start disappearing, guess which one holds the line? Fear. Let me put it another way. Love is a bonus, but fear is a policy. You can hope to be loved, sure, but you'd better be respected. And if folks don't respect you, they'll walk all over you, sweet words or not. Now that sounds harsh, but Machiavelli knew people. He'd seen leaders fall from grace not because they were unkind, but because they were too kind, trying to please everyone, delaying tough calls, and letting the wolves in through the back door. You can be loved one day and betrayed the next, but if you're feared in the right way, people think twice before crossing you. Here's the catch, though, and Machiavelli is very clear on this: you must never be hated. Fear is controlled, it's clean, it's a tool. But hatred is a fire, and once it starts, it spreads fast. It turns your people against you. Your allies drift, your enemies grow bolder. And hatred? It doesn't go away with a smile and a speech. So what do? You draw the line. You don't rule by cruelty, you show strength. You act swiftly, not savagely. You punish when necessary, but you never enjoy it. You keep your word, even when it stings. You protect the good and put fear in the selfish. Take a boss, for example, one who bends over backwards to be everyone's buddy. People start slacking, showing up late, cutting corners. But if the same boss sets boundaries, firm but fair, suddenly folks show up on time. Not because they love him, but because they respect him. That's fear properly used. Or a parent, the one who wants to be the cool mom or the chill dad. Kids run wild. But the one who lays down rules with love and consistency, that child grows up knowing what the real world expects. That's leadership. Machiavelli also warns, never take too long to punish. If you must do harm, do it once and get it over with. But when you do good, stretch it out. Let kindness land slowly, build trust over time. That way, folks remember you for it. This isn't about being cold, it's about being strong with a purpose. A leader who's both feared and loved is ideal, but if you can't have both, pick fear and steer clear of hate. Here's your takeaway. 1. Be decisive. Do not delay hard choices to keep peace. Delays breed chaos. 2. Be firm. Let your presence carry weight. Weakness invites challenge. 3. Be wise. Use fear to protect, not punish. Never let it turn into cruelty. 4. Avoid being despised. Treat people with dignity, even when being strict. Because when the dust settles, when the music stops and the knives come out, it won't be the ones who loved you that keep your name safe. It'll be the ones who respected you too much to betray you. That's not cynicism, my friend. That's survival.
Dirty hands are justified. Injuries should be done all at once, so that being tasted less, they offend less. Let's be honest here. If you're waiting around for a clean life where every tough choice comes gift-wrapped in moral clarity, you're going to be waiting a long damn time. Machiavelli understood this better than most. He didn't believe leaders were saints, or should try to be. He believed they should be effective. And when it came to tough decisions, the kind that make your hand shake and your conscience twitch, he had one simple rule. If you have to hurt people, do it fast, do it clean, and don't make them suffer twice. Now I know that makes a lot of folks uncomfortable. We've been raised to think that all harm is bad, that all violence is evil, that doing what's right always looks gentle. But Machiavelli would say, grow up. Sometimes leadership means stepping into the storm so the people you serve don't have to. Let's look at his logic. If you spread harm out over time, fire a few workers this month, raise taxes next month, lock folks down again the month after that, you're training people to resent you. Every time they start to catch their breath, bam, another hit. That's how revolts start. But if the blow comes all at once, sharp, sudden, no nonsense, people recover quicker. They hate it, sure, but they move on. Why? Because the uncertainty is over. The bleeding stops. Think about a surgeon. You'd rather him make one deep cut and fix the problem than have him poke you 50 times over a year, right? Same with leadership. Pain is easier to process when it's short and honest. Here's how that applies in modern life. Let's say you're running a company and things go south. You have to make layoffs. Do you fire 5 people a month for 6 months? No. You do it once, you explain it, you take the hit to your image, then you rebuild. Or you're a parent. Your kid breaks trust. Do you drag out punishment? Nag daily? No. You sit them down, you lay it out, you deliver the consequence with fairness and finality. That's how they learn and how they keep their dignity. Even in politics, hell, especially in politics, people tolerate strength when it's decisive, but drag them through long-winded suffering and they'll rise up. Machiavelli knew that cruelty isn't always evil. Prolonged cruelty is. Pain that serves a purpose, stability, order, protection, can be justified if it prevents worse outcomes. This doesn't mean be ruthless for the sake of it. It means if you must be harsh, be quick, and be done. Let's be real clear here. 1. Do not hide from hard choices. Face them early. 2. Do not delay necessary action. Time makes pain grow. 3. When harm is required, be swift and final. Mercy in execution is not softness, it's clarity. 4. Always follow with restoration. Give people a reason to stay after the storm. Machiavelli isn't celebrating cruelty. He's acknowledging the price of power. And he's saying, if someone has to pay it, better it be short and sharp than slow and senseless. Because dragging pain out doesn't make you moral. It just makes you feared and hated. So if the road gets dark and you've got to do something hard, do it all at once. Let folks feel the storm and then let the sky clear. That's how strong leaders keep peace in the long run.
Don't miss the game of power. The throne is just the board. The real play begins now. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Because the world doesn't belong to the kind. It belongs to those who see clearly. Forewarned is forearmed. Subscribed? You're already 3 moves ahead. Join or be outplayed.